I'm not saying this to criticize. I respect all religions and beliefs. Everyone has the right to do whatever they want with their life, and we have to understand, respect, and help people. What I'm saying is that if a person has a narrow mind, not believing in life after the physical one, when they die, they won't have the perception of the spiritual world. Okay, was it clear enough? Let's see this by levels of perception. One of us has just died. Your level of perception may not let you see another spirit. Am I making myself clear? Imagine you have just died, you leave your physical body, and when you become a spirit in the spiritual world, you cannot see spirits, but you can see physical beings. Do you know why? Because you are in a very dense condition, and your perception won't really let you travel in the spiritual world, aware of it. This kind of spirit causes noises, sounds, movements, and other situations in the environment, because it is still in a very dense condition. This is the level of consciousness of a spirit who is in a very primitive condition. If it improves a little bit, it starts seeing shadows. If it gets better, it starts perceiving other spirits nearby. It can suddenly say, "Wow, I'm seeing my grandfather, but he is dead." The spirit will think about it. My grandfather is dead. It does not have the perception that they are also dead. Deceased. Just a moment. Look how interesting. The spirit will see another person and say, "What is my uncle doing here? It was so long ago. Because my uncle died in 1900 and..." The spirit is still not aware of themselves as someone who is disembodied. But if it evolves a bit more, it will start meeting its family and say, "Uncle, is everything okay? Uncle, I died. I had a health problem and died." And this uncle will talk to it, saying, "I'm all right. This is what happened to me." They'll be able to talk. I'm trying to show you the level of interaction and awareness that a person can have, but this is not a closed thing. Because we can have the impression that spirituality is closed, that we all see the same way, that we are all the same. No, there is nobody in this room equal to the other. No one. No one is equal to another. We need to be aware of this. There are consciousnesses that have a higher level of perception. What I understand is that, during their life, people maintain a very primitive level of understanding without seeking true spirituality the way I see. It is okay for you to question me about this. I want to evolve and become a little bit better too. So, you end up absorbing all stories that are told about spirituality, and they are very romanticized. They are romances. Romances in which you have to settle a score. You did something wrong and the victim returns to get revenge. It is a very primitive level of spirituality, in which people feel anger, hatred, resentment, sorrow, etc. This is the level in which people who talk about spiritism and spirituality are working, because it's their level of understanding. I'm not saying that they are right or wrong. There are spiritists who reached a high level of evolution, but people who talk about spirituality in general end up absorbing those stories like they were the explanation for everything. I don't see it this way. We are talking about clairvoyance. I'm describing the scenario to help you better understand. Okay? We are not on the same level in the spiritual world. The day you die, you probably won't find some people who are on a lower or higher level than you. You can speak, dear. I will tell you something. What's your name, dear? Sarita. And yours? Claudette. How many of you here who are married, or live with someone, and your husband doesn't talk to you, but you've been together for 40 years? Isn't it true what I'm saying? You have a companion, you want to talk to him, and do you know what you achieve? An exchange of emotional burdens. Because this is what we do. We don't talk to each other. We don't get closer to someone and talk. Talking means having total freedom, without any defenses, and allowing total freedom to the other. This is real communication, real talk. We control the other, and the other controls us all the time. Then, the perception is lost. We started having a very high denial system. Even if the other is not talking to us, we think they are. They are not talking to you, but you can stand living 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years with someone you talk to, give orders, control, tell things. They do not even answer you, but you have a relationship with them. This is the way we perceive our relationship with others. We don't have the perception of calmness, peace, of getting closer to someone, looking directly into their eyes, feeling the happiness to be having contact with that person. Isn't it true? Be open to that contact. Then, you start having an exchange. You listen to whatever they have to say without being defensive. I am giving a distant example, but when you move to the spiritual world, things get complicated. Because your sensibility and your perception are just energetic, you don't have the body as a defense. So, your defenses get stronger, and you don't understand what is happening. This lack of understanding is not like, have I died? You don't see that. You don't know. You keep saying, I'm talking to you, don't you hear me? Can't you hear me, Sarita? I'm talking to you, Sarita. Hey, Sarita. Sarita is doing her things, and I'm right after her. Hey Sarita, we have always talked a lot, right? I always told you about my life, you know everything. And now you don't even talk to me. She will keep not responding because she can't hear. And they can't understand what is happening. They think she is just not willing to answer. You may ask if that is possible. It surely is. As soon as you die, you can appear in front of me, and I'll say to you, didn't I tell you, Sarita? Do you know how many times I entered a house and saw spirits still, without seeing anything? Like that. You can move your hand in front of them, but they can't see you. Or spirits with a little more perception so they can speak to someone, close to that person, because they perceive energy. Then, they stay there glued to that familiar energy, but they don't know what they are doing. This is perception. This is hard. It's terrible. There are people who had their funeral at home, the coffin was taken, but the spirit remained there. What then? Use your imagination. I'm going to tell you a funny thing. Imagine that you visit a house. When you enter the living room, there are two spirits, a father and an aunt sitting on a chair because she had lived in that house. They are there. In a very Zen position. With zero perception. They are still. If you get closer to the spirit and say, look at me, it won't be responsive to the environment. It is in a state of complete brain fog. That's what's going to happen. The point is that we want things to be the way we think. You die and already say, "Oh, I died. Nice, now I will do a lot of things because I can. I don't need clothes anymore." No, you won't do that. All you learned here is within you. And you'll continue exactly the same junk you were when you were here. With all your beliefs, all your difficulties, all your rage, your controls. If you were married and died, your husband is there and you follow him to say lots of things. And he'll say, "Wow, I'm living in this house and I'm feeling distraught." Of course, you are saying, "Didn't I tell you that?" You won't stop. You'll make his life hell. You are a harassing spirit. A big one, with a harassment card from the state of Sao Paulo Union in your pocket, and doing it with all your power. You ask, is this spiritual harassment? Most harassing spirits are relatives. We think a harassing spirit comes from outside and targets you. No. There has to be a synergy, and your relatives are the ones with more synergy with you.
Would you like to participate in a work of energy giving from afar that is benefiting thousands of people? Click on the link below for more information.